Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another Walking Dead video for today. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another Year of the Dead throwback review for The Walking Dead. We are here to do our throwback review for The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 10, titled Them. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for The Walking Dead. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another throwback review for this week's Year of the Dead Walking Dead series. This one is my throwback review for The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 10, titled Them. So, this episode is the winner for the poll this week, which I am, again, very surprised about because I do know that this is a very hated episode of The Walking Dead. A lot of people do not like this episode. And I'm probably about to surprise a lot of people if you are one of the people that thinks that. I absolutely love this episode. I always have. I always thought this was a great episode. Yes, it's slow. Yes, it's a bit of a slow burner. But, you know, you guys know me. I think that if slow burners are done right, then honestly, then there's nothing wrong with them. And honestly, this one, I think everything that they did in this one was really, really good. So, we're going to go into that. But I will share one piece of irony for you guys. This is kind of funny. Out of 169 episodes of the Walking Dead series that could have been the Year of the Dead, and obviously we've done so many Year of the Dead reviews, I am literally in the middle of a storm right now outside of my window. So that's kind of the funny thing about reviewing this episode. Like, out of any week, out of any time this could have happened, it's literally storming like crazy right now for like the past like couple days, but it's like really bad today. So I don't know. I just find that kind of funny. So anyway. Yeah, I figured I'd let you guys know. It's storming outside, so if you guys hear any, crazy wind sounds or anything like that, you'll know what that is. But I don't know, I just found that ironic given the episode that I'm reviewing. So anyway, enough about that. Let's get into the episode. So this episode was awesome. We basically have, I would say, 3 points of view for this one. I mean, it's focused on the entire group, but mostly we're focusing on Maggie, we're focusing on Daryl, and we're focusing on Sasha. And they're all kind of dealing with the people that they've lost, and whether or not they want to actually keep going or not is kind of a question in this one. You know, you get Maggie who's crying, you get Daryl who's eating worms, and you got Sasha that's finding dead frogs. So that's kind of the beginning of the episode, is kind of like, there's like no hope, right? And you see the entire group like sitting by the van, and they're all just dehydrated like hell. So after that, their car finally, runs out of gas, so they have to go on foot. And you see this about 3 times in the episode, where Daryl continues to kind of go off on his own into the woods. Now, the first time Carol comes with him, and she kind of, comforts him about Beth, gives him the knife that Beth used to have. The second time he goes, and he kind of just experiences like a dead dog, I think it was, like a dead deer or something like that. And then the final time he actually goes, he cries, and he lets himself feel the pain, even burning himself with a cigarette and stuff like that. And he misses Beth, he misses everybody else from the prison, and it's kind of all catching up to him, right? And yeah, it's tough for him. So yeah, really interesting episode for Daryl. And then for Maggie, we get to see her kind of like struggling, like she's walking with the group for the most part throughout the episode, but there is like one part where they find like this car, and you got like this person that seemed to have killed herself in the back of this like trunk, and Maggie's kind of seeing this. Now, there is a storyline in the Walking Dead comic book series, and I do remember I was kind of like starting to think, like when I was watching this episode at the time, like way good few years ago, I remember I was thinking to myself, like, are they gonna have Maggie like hang herself like in the comics? They because in the comics she attempted to, and then they caught her in time, and then whatever. But I don't know, I was starting to wonder that in this episode. I was like, are they actually gonna do that? But no. Luckily, Maggie didn't go to that point. She just, misses her sister and misses her father, and she doesn't really know how to cope with all of that stuff. And it's all that built up, also being dehydrated and stuff like that, right? It's not a good mix. Especially when you're dealing with grief, right? Dealing with grief and struggling to survive, and, walking, endless miles to a place that you don't know is safe or not. Yeah, it's pretty unmotivating, I'd say. And then you've got Sasha in this one as well, who is dealing with the death of Tyrese. Now, unlike Maggie and Daryl, they're kind of just depressed. Sasha kind of just acts out of emotion. She's more like an angry, griever type of thing. And you got the one scene where they're even too tired, where they're on the bridge and they're too tired to even take out zombies at that point. So you see them like, trying to, force them off down the hill or whatever, and Sasha kind of frigs up the plan for everybody, even like cuts Abraham on the arm, which I'm like, My God, Sasha. Like, honestly, if there's one thing in this episode I can say that did kind of annoy me, it's Sasha, man. I get it, but I don't know, man. Sasha's just so weird sometimes. Like, especially with scenes like that. I'm like, oh my God, man. Like, it's just, I don't know. I was never the biggest fan of Sasha. I don't hate the character, but I don't love the character either, you know? But, either way, yeah, we get to see her do that, and then they're kind of walking, and you even got like some scenes with Gabriel where he's kind of questioning his faith and stuff like that. And finally, they run into the dogs, right? And they kill them. They do manage to, get some food, but that's it, right? And then they keep walking, and they find the water on the road, and obviously it says from a friend. And I can't even believe, like, this entire time, it's from Aaron, right? So Aaron kind of slowly gets faded in here, right? And Eugene drinks the water because that's just the kind of guy he is, right? Himself before anybody else. And Abraham, I like when Abraham knocks the water out of his, like, hand. And then I like how Abraham kind of takes a second. He stands there and he's like, oh, wait a sec, I don't have to protect you anymore. Like, oh, do whatever you want there, bozo. So, like, he's like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, because he's so used to, like, oh, no, don't drink that. We need you alive. Oh, who gives a frig, So, I don't know. I kind of like that. But either way, he's drinking the liquor. He's letting the liquor do the thinking in this episode. And, Sasha kind of says, like, we're not friends. And I'm like, holy frick, Sasha. So, anyway, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. She's, dealing with grief in her own way. But I just don't like Sasha, man. I'm one of the few people I just don't like Sasha. I don't know what it is. Every time I try to get into that character, I don't know. She doesn't connect well with me, I guess. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so they then, the storm hits, the rain comes, and Daryl tells Rick about the barn he found the last time he was out there on his own. And Rick says where. They go inside. And obviously, they clear about a walker that's in there still. And, they kind of stay in there. Now, Rick's speech I loved, where he talks about his dad in the war and stuff like that, and he does say that we are the Walking Dead, which is really good, because in the comics, I remember he said that at the prison, and I was kind of wondering at the time, as well watching the TV show, I was just getting into the comics at the time too, because, as you guys know, I binged through the first 3 seasons of The Walking Dead on Netflix, and then when season 4 came out, I started to watch them, regularly, but I remember back in the day, I was caught up on the comics around season 4, I'm like, man, is Rick gonna ever, like, say that we are the Walking Dead line? And I kind of thought, like, oh, maybe we won't see it, but yeah, we did see it at another time, and a lot of people said that it wasn't nearly as good in the TV show. I liked it. I mean, maybe I do prefer the comics, but I liked it. I thought it was good, and I like Daryl saying we ain't them too, right? I think that's pretty cool. And I hope they don't ever have Rick say we're not the Walking Dead. If he ever, like, comes back or something, like in the Rick show, and he says that or something, I'm gonna be like, oh, frick's sakes, man. So I hope not, because I never liked that line from the comics. But anyway, this one was really good. And I love it. It's a group effort. The storm gets really bad. They all force on the door together, and it makes a big impact, too, when Abraham starts pushing on it. It's like, holy frick, okay, now we're good. So, because it's like they're all struggling, then, like, Abraham jumps in. He's like, oh, okay, so, yeah, we may have this, right? Yeah, anyway, so Abraham kind of, I would say, is half the reason why that door probably stayed closed, right? Because he's a big dude, right? So he can, close it and stuff like that. And anyway, we got the storm that ends. They wake up the next day, and, you got Maggie and Sasha that kind of go out there. And they run into Aaron, which obviously Aaron, knows Rick's name, and that's kind of a creepy way of doing things. And the doll, like, house thing or whatever, like the music thing or whatever, it starts to play again. And that's kind of creepy as well, too, because it's like, wait, is that like a sign of hope, or is that something else, right? So I remember the feeling of seeing that, because I was a comic reader, so I'm like, oh, that's Aaron, right? But I was still on edge. I was like, oh, wait a sec, are they going to trick comic viewers? Like, maybe he's actually bad in the show. That'd be an interesting twist, but obviously we know now he's not. But it was still intriguing, I remember at the time. So, I don't know. Everybody hates this episode. I'll never understand it. It's a really good episode. I'm going to give it straight up 9.5, honestly. The only thing is, Sasha, she kind of pissed me off at times. Aside from that, yeah, this is a good episode. I love how realistic it is. This is what would really happen in an apocalypse. This is what would really happen in the world of The Walking Dead. They wouldn't just be killing zombies, endless energy and whatever when they're walking in the frickin' hot Georgia sun and, doing that. Absolutely. And, getting to see this kind of trio, Daryl, Maggie, and Sasha, dealing with grief, they handled it very realistically, and it was a very, very good episode. So, I don't know. I think it's one of the best episodes when it comes to survival, type, standards. And, you know, trying to kind of survive the world and stuff like that. I think this is a criminally underrated episode. So anyway, let me know in the comment section below, what did you guys think about this episode? If you haven't watched it already, let me know, or haven't watched it in a while, I should say. Definitely go back and watch it, and let me know what you guys think. So of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos of The Walking Dead. Make sure also to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead reviews on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another video for The Walking Dead. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
I've heard stories, walkers that can climb walls and open doors. I was never sure if they were just stories.